Hello and welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. I'm James, and over on the other side there is Fraser. How are you, Fraser, this week?
Good, but as we said before, I'm boiling. I'm
It's
absolutely
so hot,
sweating.
isn't it? It's so hot. It's just so muggy. It's like being in a Brazilian rainforest, which might be relevant to today's story, actually.
Wow. Fine. Just the heat. It's horrible. I've just drank a hot cup of tea and now I'm sweating. I'm wearing one of these like thermal, like the t-shirts that lets all the air breathe and stuff. It's not fucking working.
It's not working. But it'd be nice if it was sunny and warm, but it's just not. It's just cloudy and muggy and grim.
Yeah, it's been black clouds all day. Anyway, tell us what you've got.
Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, it's not been that long since we last met. I think it was a couple of days ago. So here we are again. Good to see you. Kind of. Right. So, shall we begin? Or any more to say?
Okay, interrupt. Go on.
So we crack on. So throughout history, certain mysteries have endured, not only because they lack resolution, but because they seem fundamentally inexplicable. These are the types of cases that defy simple explanation and challenge our assumptions about the world. Among them, few are as strange or unsettling as the utterly baffling case as the lead mask case of Brazil. Have you heard of this?
Lead is in the metal?
Yes, yeah. Lead, L-E-A-D.
Wow. No, I haven't heard of it, no. I'm intrigued.
No. So in August 1966, on a hill overlooking the city of Niterói in Brazil, the bodies of two men were discovered in a scene so strange it borders on surreal. They were dressed in identical formal suits, waterproof raincoats, and over their eyes were crude, homemade lead masks. The kind one might use to shield against radiation, only covering their eyes, not the rest of the body. So when I sort of first read this, I thought it was kind of like a mask, like the man in the iron mask thing. No, it was just like kind of goggles, lead goggles.
So you couldn't see, so it's like the opposite to a mask with eye holes. This just covers your eyes.
Yeah, so think of sort of like
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Or like a face. When you go to sleep, some people wear sort of like one of those type things made of lead. Mm-hmm. So nearby the bodies were bottles of water, some towels, money, and a small handwritten note with a cryptic set of instructions. And that's very important. So despite police investigations, media attention, and widespread speculation, no cause of death was ever determined. Over half a century later, the lead mask case remains one of the most confounding, unsolved deaths in modern history.
Wow. Sounds like the start of a Monkey Island game.
It does, yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Not Monkey Island, but this really, really bizarre case that I came across just by complete utter accident. I didn't know what to do this week, because I know we spoke last week about maybe I'd do some sort of like unsolved or spooky, ghosty story, but I just simply couldn't find anything that I thought would be worthy of the pod. So I came across this purely by accident, and it's a bit weird, to be honest. I don't really sort of... Well, you'll find out anyway.
But that's what we want. We want weird, unexplained.
Very weird, yeah. So let's start with the discovery, first of all. So on the afternoon of August 20th, 1966, a boy climbing Morro de Vintem, a hill in the Brazilian city of Niterói. That's right, isn't it? Is that what I said before?
That's what you said, yep.
Yeah, so Niterói. Sorry, Portuguese people, for my for murdering these pronunciations. So he made a disturbing discovery. He'd gone to the hill to fly a kite, as local children often did. Not many people fly kites these days, do they?
No, it's too many power lines.
Yeah, 1966 was slightly different. So he went up to this hill to fly this kite, and he noticed something very unusual in the brush, sort of just off the way.
Right.
When he inspected further, it appeared to be two bodies lying in the grass. Obviously, the boy was startled, so he ran home to tell his father, and his father quickly contacted the authorities. When the police arrived on the scene, what they found stunned them.
Wow.
So both men were lying side by side, face up, with their hands neatly folded over their chests, as if to be prepared for burial. So, like that, I guess.
The old Dracula thing.
I think so. Is that how you prepared for
Can
burial?
you sleep like that? Yeah, I think so.
Is it? Was like that? Anyway, they were dressed in identical formal suits, waterproof raincoats. Each man wore a lead mask, crudely cut sheets of lead fashioned to fit over their eyes, like protective goggles. Like I said, no lenses or holes or anything, no head strap. It was just simply a strip of lead, like that.
Yeah.
So near the bodies were empty water bottles, 2 soaked towels, a notebook containing a single cryptic note, a packet of plastic bags. They believed that this was for rain protection or something, and some cash and their identity documents, their wallets. So their wallets were on them, and really weird. Just bodies, dead, loads of stuff. There was no visible injuries or sign of violence, and this immediately puzzled investigators.
So is this like, what sort of, is this like forest area? Is this in like the outskirts of a town?
Yeah, so it's like a hill. So if you think like, yes, it's a hill outside of a town.
Yeah.
It's kind of sort of like a bit foresty because it's Brazil. Everywhere's foresty there.
It's not in the complete wilderness. It's near civilization.
Well, the boy walked to fly his kite there, so it's sort of just out the town. It's not in the middle of nowhere.
It's not got a 3-day trek or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just sort of outside the town. So the men on the hill were identified as Manuel Vieira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana. Both in their early 30s, they were from Campos dos Gotiqueses. Don't know if that's right. Sorry, Portuguese people. A city about 170 miles from Niterói.
Cool. I don't think there's going to be any native Gotiqueras people listening to this.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Both worked as electronic repairmen, specifically focusing on radios and television. A relatively specialised trade in the 1960s in Brazil, if you didn't know that.
No. Huh?
Both were described as intelligent, meticulous, and law-abiding. They had stable lives, families, children, and professional reputations. However, as police began to interview friends and family, another dimension to their lives emerged. One that would prove critical to the case.
Wow.
So Manuel and Miguel were not only or merely technicians, they were also active participants in a spiritualist community. Here we go.
Cult.
In the mid-20th century Brazil, spiritualism was both widespread and deeply woven into the cultural fabric. Unlike the fringe status sometimes holds in other nations, in Brazil it was mainstream. Mm-hmm. Their group was reportedly interested in scientific spiritualism. So this involves attempts to merge technological methods with spiritual practices. Right. So like this could include the use of electronic devices to contact spirits or higher intelligences, like EVPs. You've seen that on Most Haunted and stuff. People use electronic devices to kind of sort of connect with otherworldly beings.
Some with a TV aerial stuck on a stylophone.
Well, it's funny. I told you about that thing that I went on. The ghost hunt.
Oh
thing.
Yeah.
And that ghost fancied me, Mary.
Well, she been in touch?
No, not recently. Unfortunately, not. No. But
are you hairy, Mary?
No, but that was an EVP thing, And that,
right.
And the thing, like the lights were going off and stuff. So this sort of stems from the early sort of 1960s, 1950s, where people were kind of realizing that, well, maybe we can use like electronic devices, maybe spirits, or even sort of wider things that we don't understand can use electricity and things like that to talk to us.
All this wonderful technology, what should we do with it? Well, look for ghosts.
Look for ghosts. I mean, that's a worthy cause, though, I think. I think, if someone discovered, not a ghost, but understood what ghosts were, like I've told you before, I don't believe in ghosts. I think that's something else. I think it's something further than that. But if some sort of scientific discovery was like, okay, they're not ghosts. There's just that life exists, and time is just all at once type thing. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Because it would just change everyone's scientific perspective on life.
Yeah.
So I think it's a worthy cause. But I think this was the beginning of people using sort of electronic devices to try and sort of figure that stuff out.
Yeah. Is that the little thing on Ghostbusters they have, with the two things that come up and light up?
I think so, yeah.
Is that meant to be like one of them?
I think that's the idea behind it, yeah.
All right.
So this is a big thing, like this is up and coming in the 60s, and these men were interested in all that, trying to figure it out. I mean, this fascination might have extended beyond the realms of the occult, or into the realms of the occult, sorry. The UFO phenomena. That's how you say it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Phenomena. Yeah, okay. So they had this interest anyway. Yeah, so even though they were sort of like straight edge guys on the face of it, in the background, they were kind of like, well, maybe we should try and contact ghosts or UFOs using our material or equipment.
Sorry to interrupt, James, but I know we want to just batter through this, but when you say about straight-laced guys, I can't get my head around flat earthers.
Well, no, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Proper, like, sensible guys with wives, kids, jobs, sitting on TV trying to convince people the world's flat.
Well, yeah.
We've seen it's not.
But according to who, though?
Well,
have you actually ever seen the Earth from outer space?
No, but it also doesn't make sense that it's flat.
So how would prove it?
Well, they did, didn't they? There were these flat earthers that did this experiment, and he's like, if I shine this light, it'll go that distance and it'll shine back and it'll prove that the Earth's flat, and it actually proved that it wasn't flat. And he looked like an idiot, and he was like, "Oh shit!"
Well, it's not, is it? But
each to their own.
Each to their own. We can't sort of take away anybody's thoughts or beliefs. I mean,
but do you know what? It doesn't bother me if it's flat or not. It makes no difference to my life whatsoever.
No, well,
it could be a
does
triangle.
Because what's beyond the big? What's it called in the Game of Thrones?
There's the wall, isn't there?
The wall. What's beyond the wall?
Who cares? I'll be dead soon, Fuck it.
So anyway, irrelevant. So, so the police got together a timeline of these people, Manuel and Miguel's sort of last steps, if you like, and they established that on the August 17th, 1966, around 9 a.m., Manuel and Miguel. Yeah, need a drink. Manuel and Miguel left their homes, telling their families they were going out to buy materials for work.
Right.
At 2:30 p.m. on the 17th of August, they boarded a bus to Niterói, and witness later described both men as anxious, with Miguel frequently checking his wristwatch. Later in the afternoon, they arrived in Niterói and purchased a bottle of water from a bar. The bartender remembers them as being nervous but polite. After 4:30 p.m, from this point onward, no one reports seeing the men alive again. It's presumed they climbed the mountain, Morro de Vitem, sometime before sunset. And then on August the 20th, their bodies were discovered.
Wow.
Okay, so I told you about the note.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is quite interesting, or bizarre. So investigators found the note. It's an infamous note now, written in the men's notebook. Now the translation reads, I don't have the Portuguese, thankfully, but the translation goes like this. 16:30, be at the specified location. 18:30, ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals, await signal, mask. That's what it said.
Wow. So they've got to be there for 4:30, but don't take the pills till 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do they do for 2 hours?
So the meaning is ambiguous but chilling. It implies the ingestion of capsules Step 2 of a larger process. Protected metals might refer to the safeguarding electronic equipment or their own bodies. A wait signal raises the question: what signal were they waiting for? From what or who? Okay, so the investigation itself. So by the time the police arrived, the scene had already been heavily disturbed by locals and the boy's family. Key evidence, it's always this way, isn't it? Like, key evidence been destroyed, trampled on, moved and removed. It's just, you have these things that happen, and like whenever a mystery seems to happen, it's always because either the police fucked up or someone's got in there and just fucking messed around with shit. And then, anyway, but this is quite mysterious though. So anyway, you've got this death scene. You know, police have been called. All the locals have run towards this death scene. Oh, this is a bit weird, isn't it? Oh, that's weird. Picking up all the shit,
taking their own shoes off to see if they fit.
Is there any money in this wallet? Oh. So the scene was contaminated. Basically, so the police couldn't do a proper report. The bodies were autopsy, right? So the bodies remained on the hill for several days in a Brazilian summer heat. So imagine that stank.
Yeah.
It was then transferred for autopsy. Obviously, the delay in transferring the bodies to the morgue, there was severe decomposition, particularly in sort of like humid conditions.
Yeah, I believe Brazil's quite a humid, hot country, isn't it? Because I know when they talk about playing football there, you can hardly breathe.
Yeah. So I mean, the toxicology analyst analysis was inconclusive, and to this day it remains unknown whether the men ingested any drugs or poison or hallucinogens into their body. And then, you know, in 1966, forensic capabilities were limited, especially for like non-violent, unexplained deaths.
Right.
You know, if there's nothing on the body, then, you know, if you've got like a head trauma or broken bones, then it's quite obvious to say, well, this is what happened. But if there's no actual physical evidence back in those days, it's difficult to kind of like say.
Basically, no evidence of foul play, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basic protocols such as fingerprinting, DNA, things like that, searching for radiation, they just weren't done those days. Mentioned that in that note of taking the capsule or taking whatever, there were no remains of any sort of capsules or drugs found on the body or at the scene. It's difficult to say whether they were just sort of naturally biodegraded within the sort of on the scene, or again, but it's difficult to kind of like do the toxicology because of the state of the bodies after they finally removed them.
That's it. Certain drugs can break down in that time, can't they?
Well, yeah, precisely. Yeah. So there's a couple of theories as to what actually happened. So the first one is the spiritual or the occult ritual, a spiritual or occult ritual that's gone wrong. So the lead masks were likely designed to shield the eyes from some sort of intense light or some sort of radiation, spiritual energy, I suppose, or electromagnetic radiation, which was anticipated by the men in some sort of spiritual event. The mention of a wait signal that was mentioned in the note could imply they expected some sort of communication, perhaps from like visual or physical communication from a higher power, a spiritual entity, or even maybe like extraterrestrials. Yeah,
it sounds like they were maybe expecting to be like beamed up or something, or
something like that.
Let's get a nice suit on, lie down, wait, thing over your eyes, so the big laser beam that comes down and beams you up doesn't.
Yeah, maybe that's what they thought was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, but there's no actual evidence of this happening, or what the signal was, or who even instructed them to do this. So it's just all a bit weird.
Could have been a mad prank, though, couldn't it? Someone's been winding them up for months,
Well, hang on a minute, hang on. The second theory is it was just a psychedelic misdemeanor. Like,
Right.
They reference. So the note references ingesting capsules, which strongly suggests, take drugs, maybe,
Yeah.
take some sort of like psychoactive component, put this on your face, and you'll have a fucking whale of a time. Obviously, in the 1960s, they were like LSD and stuff was a kind of a big thing, and people sort of enjoyed doing that. I mean, people, not me, obviously, but people still do enjoy taking those things. Perhaps the pair intended to reach like a heightened state of consciousness to contact spiritual beings. They thought, if we take this sort of like hallucinogen or something, we will, and put this on our face, we will kind of reach this sort of higher state.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm boring you there.
Oh, just I could. Been trying not to yawn. I've been digging the driveway today.
So, and then the sort of towels and the water could sort of imply that they were used to sort of cool down their bodies and
right,
while they were sort of tripping, But again, there was no evidence of these capsules or anything they'd taken or anything like that. The third theory is a UFO contact attempt.
Right.
Here. I mean, I don't like that sort of phrase, UFO, because that's just a fucking thing that flies through the air, isn't it?
Just anything, isn't it?
Yeah, so an extraterrestrial contact attempt, I'd say. So Brazil, especially the 1960s, was a UFO hotspot. There were multiple reports of unexplained aerial phenomena. I can't say that word. Phenomena in Niterói and around the times of these people's death.
When was the Roswell? Was the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a big thing in the 60s, wasn't it? All this sort of like UFO and alien shit.
They probably came and thought, do you know what? Fuck it. It's not worth it. We'll go somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm just lying on the grass taking drugs.
Yeah.
Fuck off. What have they got on their faces there?
Yeah.
Weirdos.
Cats.
So it was the theory that they were trying to contact some sort of like extraterrestrial thing, but then the weakness of that is fucking what? Where have they got that idea from? They're going to go out and fucking put. The other idea, another theory, is like you said, it could just be a scam. Like, it's plausible someone deceived them into believing that a ritual would grant them like knowledge or treasure or some sort of power or something.
Leave the keys to your house.
Yeah. If you go up on that hill, put this on your face, take this pill, and then everything will be hunky-dory. And then they just fucking killed themselves by taking a pill. But again, like, there's no evidence of this. There's no robbery. I mean, the wallets were found, like, by them with ID and money and stuff in them. So, if it was a proper robbery, what did they steal? Or did they just want to do them in? But why would they want to do them in? Because they're not like gangsters or anything. Yeah. They're just
for a laugh.
For a laugh.
Just like, I sort of say a big mad prank's got out of hand.
And then sort of finally, there's another theory. It was just some sort of like weird, random electro experiment these guys were trying to do. Because as I say, they were kind of into their electronics and repair guys and stuff, and they were just doing some sort of weird, crazy experiment. But again, like, there's no evidence to suggest there's an experiment. They just lay there with these things on their faces, dead. Like, what are they trying to do?
I think that. Are you ready for my thoughts, or?
Let's have a look. How much have we got here? Yeah, go on. Let's have your thoughts.
I think that there's a combination of a few things. Excuse me, a few things. I think that it sounds like, to me, like they were going to be beamed up by something. And maybe the pills were like a kind of, almost like one of those kind of like cult suicide pill. Take this and your body will extinguish and then your spirit will get taken up to this higher plane. But put the goggles on because you'll need your eyes. Like, I don't know, something like a kind of...
But where's that come from, though? That's the question. Like,
They could have just been
idea come
two
from?
mental people. Like, you know, we could sit and have a couple of beers one night and start talking about this theory, and then get right into it and think, yeah, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You know,
The world was different. There's no internet there, so
Yeah.
people like, I mean, we're talking sort of the back end of Brazil, really.
yeah.
You know, so like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know. Where
We've
this
had
place is.
madder ideas than that. We were drunk and we were young.
Have we?
Yeah, I think so. We tried to run a wire from my house to yours to play Football Manager.
And we made it
People's
work.
back gardens.
And we made it work. We didn't run a wire, but we managed to do it somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's just a bit weird. And I don't know what my thoughts are. I think they just fucking got high and just OD'd on something, to be
Just
honest.
died.
I think they thought, yeah, I think like, the notes really, do you know what? I don't know what I think about this. I don't know.
See, obviously,
the
there's
note
a
is
third
really
party.
weird.
There must
Yeah.
be a third party because there's the
Right.
note. They would just have discussed it amongst themselves. Yeah, we'll take the capsule, get there for R4. But what's the point of
Yeah,
the note?
lay down, put these on our head, take the capsule, and then something's going to happen. And
So
then
there's a
they died.
third party, in my opinion.
Yeah, so who's that?
I don't know. Maybe, again, it was like a cult thing. They thought, we'll let these two dickheads try it. And if it doesn't work, then we just sack it off, you know?
It's just, it's a.
Yeah.
See, this, I like this because this is a big mystery to me. I can't
Yeah.
explain this at all. Like, I don't know what's happened there. I think it is probably just people fucking up. Like, I don't think there's anything sort of paranormal or
Yeah.
extraterrestrial about this. I think it's probably them two who have just made a fucking big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems so weird that they, like, you know, they're normal, generally, like, normal people by the sounds of things. Family, you know, wife, kids, house. But this note just doesn't
It's weird, isn't it?
This note is just off the. It's never been explained.
The note's the thing that takes it away from them just being two nut jobs.
Yeah, just being two blokes have gone, do you know what? Should we go up into the hills and take drugs and just put this on our head and see if some aliens come along?
Or do you know what? They could have had a suicide pact and they could have thought, let's go and do ourselves in, but we'll set it up so that, you know, 60 years from now, people are podcasting about it. And, you know,
Sure, yeah,
people will be talking about it.
Definitely what happened. Yeah.
But, you know, just set it up so it looks dramatic.
I don't know. So, I mean, it's capsulated the imagination of investigators, writers, and paranormal enthusiasts worldwide for decades, as you can imagine. Because even we're kind of like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
It frequently appears in true crime documentaries, paranormal podcasts, such as this one, and conspiracy forums. In Brazil, the case remains part of modern folklore. It's referenced in books, films, and urban legends.
Wow.
The enduring appeal lies in its unique combination of its elements: the unexplained deaths, the spiritualism, UFO lore, just curiosity, human curiosity about what actually happened.
Yeah. The UFO thing, though, there's no evidence. I mean, there's not really evidence of proper UFOs anyway. But like, it's not like anyone said, "Oh, 6:30 we saw this bright light in the sky" or anything like that. There's no witnesses of any kind of strange paranormal activity that night. There wasn't like a lightning storm or anything.
Yeah, so
outside of it.
I think this. I've never done this before. I'm going to do it now, and I'm going to reach out to our listeners because we need some help here for this case. So I've got a couple of questions, and anyone who's listening, who listens regularly or just tuning in, I want them to sort of contact us and just provide answers to these questions, right? And they're good, right? So, what was the exact reason for those lead masks? Why did they need those? Right? If they were just going up into the hills and just take fucking drugs or whatever and just trip out, why did they need the lead masks? What were the capsules? Do you think? And what were the effects? Do you think they were just LSD, or or what do you think they needed them for?
I wonder if one was blue and one was red or something like that.
Yeah. Now, were the men acting alone, or do you think they had other people involved? And if the other people were involved, who were they? And what was the signal they were waiting for that was in the note? It says, doesn't it, wait for the signal? What was that?
That's the weird thing. I find that get there for 4:30, take the capsule at 6:30, and await the signal.
Await the signal, yeah.
Why get there at 20 past 6?
It's weird,
What
isn't it?
difference does it make? But
yeah. So, and then finally, just finally to our listeners, please interact and just contact us. Do you think this was just a tragic accident, or do you think there was something greater than this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, let us know your thoughts. Contact us, because I'm intrigued by this. I'm sure other people know more about this than I do, and it'd be great if people contact us and just answer some of those questions for me. Because I've like I said before, I've just sort of stumbled across this case. And I just don't know that much about it, but it's just so bizarre.
It's a really intriguing case, like you said, because there's no kind of like obvious theory. Like we did the Beast of Bray Road, and you go, yeah, it could all be this mad shit, but it was probably just a big wolf. There isn't any. It was probably just that.
Yeah, it's the lead mask thing that does it for me. Like, and the note. Mm-hmm. Like he's got a note from somewhere.
Yeah.
And the lead, like, why? And it seems, I mean, there are pictures online that actually show, because they were found as part of the evidence, and they are sort of homemade, sort of lead goggles that you put on without straps. You just sort of put it on your face. It's just like, why would you go to all that effort? What did they think? Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
That's why I think the UFO thing. I think they were expecting a bright light
to
do something to them.
Yeah, but then who told them that?
Be it the rapture light or a UFO or a something,
very,
protect
very
their eyes so their eyes didn't burn.
So, just to conclude, unless you've got more to say.
No, I was just going to say, from what you were just saying, listeners, obviously, if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything like that, most of them have a platform to send us a message. But probably our easiest discussion place is our YouTube videos. You can message us on that.
Yeah, just drop us a line. Just tell us what
email
you think.
Address.
Just weird, isn't it?
So go on to Buy Me a Coffee and then send us a message, YouTube or jamesandfraserpod@gmail.com. And do you know what? If you send us a message, we'll talk about it next week. And
we'll buy you a coffee.
Yeah, buy you a coffee. Metaphorical coffee. But yeah, send us a message.
Okay, so just to conclude, so it's been more than 50 years after Manuel Pierre de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana climbed Morro de Vitiem, in pursuit of something, whether a spiritual enlightenment, alien contact, or transcendental experience. The mystery of their deaths remain unsolved. The lead mask case endures not simply because it's unsolved, but because it represents something deeper. Humanity's relentless pursuit of answers to questions that might not have answers at all. Whether they were visionaries, victims of their own beliefs, or participants in an experiment far beyond their understanding, their stories stand as a testament to the thin boundaries between the known and the unknown. And that means, Fraser, that I'm signing off for tonight. Thank you, James, for listening.
Thank you. That was it was an intriguing story. Just leaves a lot more questions than answers, as they say. That was interesting. So we've said for 2 weeks we're going to do a spooky one. We still haven't, so it's back over to me to try and find a ghost story.
I can't find a good spooky mystery. But
yeah,
listeners, if you know of a good spooky mystery you'd like us to do, please comment and let us know. Righto, okay, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for listening. As usual, please like, subscribe, and do all that shit, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, cheers, James. Take care. See you now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.